at Institute of Public Enterprise, Hyderabad. We are honored to be your MCs for the inaugural sessions of the IPE's Annual Finance Conference 2025. On behalf of Institute of Public Enterprise, it gives us immense pleasure to welcome you all to the IPE's Annual Finance Conference 2025, a platform that brings together academicians, researchers, and practitioners from across India and abroad to share their research ideas and perspectives in the field of finance. The Annual Finance Conference is an initiative of the Center for Financial Education, IPE, and is funded by ICSSR and co-sponsored by Indian Bank and Whole Life Financial Services.
India today stands at the cusp of a major transformation as it envisions becoming a developed, inclusive, and self-reliant economy by 2047, marking the centenary of its independence. The ambitious Viksit Bharat 2047 initiative places strong emphasis on robust policy frameworks, sustainable development, technological innovations, and inclusive growth. At the core of this transformation lies the financial ecosystem, an essential enabler of economic momentum, institutional trust, and national progress. Against this backdrop, the IPE's Annual Finance Conference 2025 becomes a highly relevant and timely endeavor. We are truly delighted to have distinguished dignitaries and esteemed participants with us today to mark the beginning of this important academic gathering.
May we now take the privilege of inviting our dignitaries onto the dais. First, we invite Professor Y. Ramakrishna, Conference Convener, Professor and Head PGDM, IPE, on his desk. We request Dr. Kalyani to welcome Professor Y. Ramakrishna with the bouquet. May I now invite Professor V. Srikanth, Dean Academics IPE, onto the dais. I request Dr. Kalyani to welcome Professor V. Srikanth. May I now invite Professor S. Srinivasa Murthy, Director IPE and Chairman of the Annual Finance Conference 2025, onto the dais. Dr. Kalyani, welcome. Now invite our guest of honor, Mr. Mohit, co-founder and CFO, Utsup Consulting Solutions, onto the dais. I request Dr. Kalyani to present the deliberation. We will now invite our chief guest for today, Professor Dr. N.R. Parsuraman, former director, SDMIMT Mysore, onto the dais. I request Dr. Kalyani to present the conference. Towards the positive energy and the auspicious beginnings, we request all the dignitaries on the dais to proceed for the lighting of the lamp.
शुभं करोति कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शत्रुबुद्धि विनाशाय दीपज्योति नमोस्तुते. We bow to this divine light which brings auspiciousness, good health, prosperity and wisdom and dispels negative forces. Lighting the lamp signifies the removal of darkness both in the physical and spiritual sense and marks the beginning of every auspicious event by invoking divine blessing for knowledge, harmony and success.
Without any further ado, let us begin with the formal proceedings of the inaugural session. I now invite Professor Y. Ramakrishna, conference convener, to give a brief primer on the objectives and highlights of the Annual Finance Conference 2025.
I thank all the dignitaries of the dais and our faculty, staff, and my beloved PGDM friends and theatre students for taking your precious time and attending this inaugural session. Yeah, just I'll give you a brief outline of this annual finance conference, how it started and where we are now. Sometime back in January, I guess January 2025, Dr. Kalyani came to me with an objective saying that, sir, this year we'll conduct an annual finance conference. I said, Kalyani, why we need to take a pay of conducting an annual finance? No, sir, we'll do it. Then we got into Swati. We designed a program and we went to our honorable director, Professor Srinivas Murthy. Said, yes, sir, we are going to planning to conduct a program. What do you say? Because he being a finance person, instantly said that, okay, Ramakrishna, go ahead. We started working on it. But the big challenge is that the IPE, which is a public enterprise, is a 60-year young institution with a legacy. In the sense, for the 60 years, we are contributing phenomenally to the academia. And second is that internally, every one of our faculty members conducted so many conferences and seminars which are globally recognized, and they set a high standards for us. Meeting the high standards is kind of a challenge and technique. So that's one internally. In the sense, one is that we don't want to disturb the legacy. We want to enhance the legacy of IPE, which is a public enterprise. In addition to that, what all the faculty seasoned faculty members have contributed here, we want to add value to it. On the other side, why I said the conference conducting is challenge is in India, as on date, to the best of my understanding, there is around 3,280 AICT approved institutions, among which around 300 or 400 are business schools. Now imagine that 3,500 or 400 institutions Each institution conducts one conference in a year, 3,500 conferences. Per day, it is 10 conferences happening in the country. In addition to this, we have a conferences in terms of Indian Economic Association or Economic Society of India and IIM, so many of them. And the market is so cluttered that everywhere you have a conferences. Now, this is the big challenge. Now, having this basic understanding, we started working on it. We created brochures and we circulated. We started using the strength of IPE faculty members. For all the people of the dais and faculty members, I would like to say that IPE has got a diverse faculty. Ranging from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, West Bengal to Rajasthan, we have faculty members. We leveraged on that network and we promoted it. Now, normally conferences will say that they put a last date and when the last date is there, then they give extensions and all. But for our conference, we said that in our brochure, we said that last date is March 31st. No extension is available. So I think you are saying that, no sir, why you put that? People may ask. No, people may ask, but we stick to it. And by March 31st of 2025, we received 176 papers from all over India. And these are not abstracts. These are the full papers that we received, 176 full papers from IIM, Ahmedabad, IIT Mumbai, IIT Madras, you know, the top institution in the country, they send the papers to us. But unfortunately, as we set our criteria, our director, Professor Muthiar, said that we have to follow certain criteria and we have a legacy behind it. So we have to. Now, of this 176 papers, 91 papers were just rejected. I will say that this rejection, as an author, I also feel bad when my paper gets rejected. But we have our own standards, and when we said that these papers are rejected, we received so many calls from the people asking, requesting, pleading, or at some point of time, threatening also. So all those things we went to the director said, this is what happened. The director said, no, Ramesha, whatever that you are doing, go ahead with that, we'll stick to our things. So that's the kind of a support Professor Srinivas to give us, and then 85 papers we have. Next challenge, big challenge is the review of the papers. Normally, conference papers are not reviewed meticulously, but we thought that our papers need to be reviewed. And there comes the strength of IPE, I said again. 29 members, 29 faculty members of IPE, because this is a finance conference, 29 members of IPE faculty thoroughly vetted these 85 research papers. And you all don't believe, when we ask the students or any other things, they say that we don't have a time and all. Our director, Honorable Professor Srinivas Murthy, he himself reviewed a paper. Because of his hectic schedule, he reviewed the paper today. That's what the communication, what we are doing at this conference. Then of the 85 papers that we reviewed, 14 papers were being rejected by the reviewers. And then only 7 papers were accepted as they sent to us. 38 papers were accepted with minor revisions, 28 with the major revisions. Now, in these 2 days, today and tomorrow, we are going to have presentations of around 53 papers. These are the 53 papers. And these 53 papers, again, spread from all parts. In the sense, the papers that we are reviewing. See, we have papers from West Bengal, we have papers from Gujarat, we have papers from Delhi, we have papers from, you name any state in the country, we have papers from Telangana, Karnataka, Maharashtra, everywhere, all these full papers. So next 2 days is going to be a serious discussions and deliberations on these 2 papers. With this inputs, I all welcome you all, those who are offline here and who are online, for this 2 days of deliberations on our Institute of Public Enterprise, that is IPE Annual Finance Conference. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
The words have usually set the context for the academic discussion that will follow for the next 2 days. May I now invite Professor S. Srinivasa Murthy, Director of IPE and the Chairman of the conference, to deliver the welcome address. Professor S. Srinivasa Murthy is currently a Professor of Finance and Director, Institute of Public Enterprise, Hyderabad. He holds a master's degree in commerce from Sri Venkateswara University and master's degree in international business from Pondicherry University. He also holds the UGC JRF for his doctorate degree in finance from University of Madras. He brings with him nearly 3 decades of experience in teaching, academic administration, research, training, and consultancy at IPE since his joining day as a faculty member in 1994. Professor Murthy is engaged with academic community, professional organizations, industry, and other funding agencies, both nationally and internationally. He is a visiting faculty to IIM Kozhikode, IIM Indore, NIT Warangal, IIIF, JNTU, ANGRAU, and other universities of repute. He has conducted around 100 MPPs for senior and middle level executives and has done consultancy assignments for World Bank, Asian Development Bank, Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India, central and state level public enterprises. He has authored 15 books and many course materials and published a number of articles in reputed journals and presented papers in many national and international conferences. He has guided many research scholars for the doctorate degrees. He has conducted many conferences, symposia, and workshops in the areas of finance. He has received the Diwan Mehta Award for the Best Professor in Financial Management, CSR Eminent Director of the Leading Institute India Award, and Business Leader of the Year Award for outstanding contribution to education. His areas of interest include corporate finance, project appraisal, and financial services. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Swati. Most respected Chief Guest of the day, Professor N.R. Parasamul Garu, former Director, SDM, IMD Mysore. The guest of honor, Sri Mohit Ji, co-founder and CFO, Utsuk Consulting Solutions. My colleague, Professor Srikant, Dean Academics, Professor Ramakrishna, conference convener and also head of the program. And the conveners behind here, Dr. Kalyani, Dr. Swati, and my distinguished colleagues present here, faculty from different institutions, and invitees and dear students of IPE. It gives me immense pleasure in welcoming the chief guest today. And this particular program, as Professor Ramakrishna was saying, they were discussing about this program and doing a lot of work. And one of the important purposes for which we have started this event is that we should help the teaching community in the country. As you are aware, IPE has been bringing so many programs. We have signed MOUs with almost 50 institutions. And in every institution, we would like to do one FTP, one STP, or faculty will go to that institution and train the faculty and conduct program for the students. So in the process, we have trained 1,600 faculty and 20,000 students. And we have done through online also. Many people from across the country, even from other countries, are benefited because of our online FTP program. But this particular program purpose is that we should provide a forum for the academicians and researchers to share their research findings. For academicians in the area of finance, a forum like this will help to interact with fellow researchers in the area of finance and the areas which are actually developing, areas which are actually having a lot of future. So it is a forum for the people who are interested, like academicians, researchers, practitioners, to deliberate on what are the things that are happening in the area of finance. That's the reason we have called it annual finance conference. It will be annual future in our words. And that will be, I am really happy that my students are also here. And we have been conducting many programs today, in spite of their examination Viva, they are present. I'm sure you'll be immensely benefited. And I thank our faculty who are behind this approach. Besides the core faculty, Ramakrishna, Swati, and Kalyani, all the faculty present here, they are behind the success of the event. The students who are here helping us, a big round of applause to all of them. And a special thanks and welcome to Professor Parasamul Garu, who have high regard and have been in touch with him when he was director at the Dharmasthala Manjunatha Institute of Management Development, Mysore. A great academician, written 15 books, and a role model for many academicians here. Thank you so much, sir, for coming to the event. And Mohit Ji, thank you so much for coming here to share the industry practices
That's the reason we have speaker from both academics and industry, so that industry perspective, he has got 3 decades of experience in industry. So he will speak about what are the trends in the area of finance in the industry that have been happening now. So it will be a mixture of both academic and practical exposure to the participants. And the Institute of Public Enterprise was started in 1964, mainly to help the public sector enterprise in the country in terms of training, research, and consultancy requirement. IPE is a household name among the public sector enterprise in the country. And IPE is recognized as a center of excellence for research by the Indian Council of Social Science Research, Ministry of Education, Government of India. And the IPE is headed by a distinguished board headed by Shri Mahadarao Garu, former Chief Secretary of the combined state of Andhra Pradesh, and many luminaries are on the board of IPE. IPE, though it started its journey with training, research, and consultancy, it embraced the management education when it started part-time MBA program in 1981 with the affiliation of Usmania University, and then full-time program started from 1995, first PGM program, 2007 PGM Retail and Banking, 2008 PGM Banking, Insurance and Financial Services, 2009 International Business, 2012 PGM HRM, and last year 2024 PGM Business Analytics, and also Fellow Program in Management. So with this, we have total intake of 540 and total student presence of more than 1,100 in the campus. So we provide a lot of scholarships to the students, almost about 2 crore scholarships to the students. We have very good score in their test score, and we have 24 seats allocated to the children of the people, employees, whose income, parental income is less than 8 lakh per annum. So they will get complete tuition fee waiver, 24 students. So whatever MOUs we have been conducting here, we are telling this MOU institution to make use of this opportunity. The students from those colleges, they can join here, they get exposed to the training we give here. And also faculty, they can attend programs like this, they can contribute articles or research journals. So we believe that sharing is the best way. As India is emerging as the 3rd largest economy, it is a challenge for the country as a whole. So we have to work in a collaborative mode so that India remains at number 3, because 2047 is the Viksit Bharat vision we are having. So what is that academic institutions can do? Academic institutions should churn out graduates, skilled graduates. The NEP 2020 says that the education should be skill-oriented, multidisciplinary. So that is the only way we can reach the expectations of the industry, and institutions have been doing a lot of work in that. IPE is also not only started many initiatives here in terms of curriculum revision every year, bringing industry people. The other day, Sunday, we had industry advisory committee. People from different companies, they present, they have given a lot of advice to the IPE, what should be done in the area of teaching, training, research, and consultancy. So we are in continuous touch with the industry, and we would like to pass on the benefits to all the academicians who are working from different parts of the country, especially in rural areas, government colleges, they don't have infrastructure, but IPE would like to help them by training those students. That's how we have a challenge of taking India to the next level, and IPE is working in this direction. So I thank all my faculty members for taking this. Whenever we tell them to go to a college, they are going and delivering FDP there as SDP. Thank you all, my dear friends. And I compliment my colleagues, also students, who have been benefited with various programs. Sir, we are very proud to have 1,100 students who are very active. We have more than 12 student clubs. For every domain area, they have started a club like marketing, finance, HR operations. For every passion, they have started a club like photography club, cultural club, social club, and so many things. So every day, last hour, they have some activity or other. We strongly believe that the students who are active in the campus life will be active in the corporate life. So it is actually on-the-job training for them. They have so many events like summer team. So it is the most happening place IPE in Hyderabad, in South India, I can say. I'm sure the benefits are reaped by the students present here. So with these few words, once again, I welcome the Chief Guest, Professor Raman Garu, and Guest of Honor Mohit for this, and also welcome all the faculty from different institutions and every guest present here. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words and for setting the stage for the deliberation summit. May I now request Professor V. Srikanth, Dean Academics, IPE, to address the gathering on this occasion.
Chief guest of the day, Dr. N.R. Parshuram Garu, guest of honor, Sri Mohit Sri, respected Director for Dr. Srinivas Murthy Garu, Dr. Ramakrishna Garu, Dr. Kalyani, Dr. Swati, and their faculty colleagues, faculty from various institutions who come here today, and my dear students. Today, we have come here for inauguration of the two-day annual conference on finance. And it is a wonderful thing because what does these conferences do? The conferences provide a platform for people from various areas. It might be students, it is academicians, people from industry, practicing people, policy, people involved in policy. Everybody comes at one place and they discuss and deliberate the issue at hand. So therefore, definitely, when people with the experience, people with academic inclination, policy makers, everybody when they come together and they discuss, only good things can come out of it. And that is going to be helpful for the entire society. So, I compliment Dr. Ramakrishna and his team for coming up with this wonderful idea of holding this annual conference on finance and bringing together all of us together here. So let everything, all ideas come through here and let us all benefit from all the deliberations which are going to happen in the next 2 days. Finance is the backbone of everything. The world runs on finance, and the trends which we are seeing in the last few years. At one time, we used to go to the banks to put money, deposit money. We have to go into the bank. We have to withdraw money. We have to go to the bank. From there, from the 90s, we have seen slowly the concept of universal banking taking shape. It started with the credit card, debit card, and all those things. Anywhere banking, ATMs, anytime banking. All these things it started, and then it got a real big fillip in 2016 with the demonetization, and that made the digital transactions through phone and other things happen in a very big way. It is followed by the COVID. COVID is a disaster for the entire world, but for as far as the financial world is concerned, it is a blessing in disguise. Because it has helped in the diffusion of the payments mechanism to the poorest village in the country, to the poorest person in the country, to the most uneducated person of the country also. You are having phone and you can do the transactions. Another thing also which has enabled this thing is the introduction of Jan Dhan accounts by the Prime Minister, and all these things has led to the financial inclusion in the country. We are still some way to go ahead in this particular thing, but financial inclusion, okay? Almost everybody is having bank account, and everybody who is having bank account and with a mobile, okay, they are doing transactions in a digital manner. Okay, so it is wonderful thing which has happened. Okay, India is well connected with the financial system within itself. okay, and also outside. Okay, that's a wonderful thing to happen. But there are some more things also which are very in this context, particularly the digital frauds that are taking place. You gave us a name, and it's not just a financially illiterate or people who are less educated who are getting cheated. People with education, people in IT industry also. So the retired people also are getting cheated here. They call by different names, digital arrest, hacking, and all these kinds of things which are happening. Everybody in the society is vulnerable. Normally, we think well-educated people, technologically savvy people are not vulnerable. But the recent events which are happening is that not only the poorer segment, not only illiterate people, or people who are less tech savvy are vulnerable, even educated people and tech savvy people are also vulnerable to the digital frauds. Okay, so this is where again the regulatory mechanism good regulatory mechanism needs to come into the place, and also a lot of awareness is also needs to be created, and there is a lot of work to do here, and more, and as we say, the fintech, okay, the artificial intelligence technology is disruptive, okay, and it all as far as the financial world is that we say it is a positive disruption which has taken place. Okay, because lot of people are benefiting. But again, as we are saying, the technology which is still evolving also ensures that everybody is included today, and that is the Vikasit Bharat, which Director Sir was mentioning. Okay, by 2047, okay, everybody should be included. Sabke Saath Vikas. That motto also has to be satisfied, and it is also Sabke Safe Rakhna Hai. That also should be the financially safe. Okay, Sabko financially safe Rakhna Hai. That also should be the motto, and we should, the entire financial system ecosystem has to work in this direction. Then therefore, then we will become financially strong in real sense. Okay, so I wish all the best to the organizers here and for all the participants for this two-day conference. It is a step in the right direction. Thank you.
May I now invite our guest of honor, Mr. Mohan, co-founder and CFO, IPSUP Consultancy, to address the gathering. Mr. Mohan is the co-founder and the chief financial officer of IPSUP Consulting Solutions, a Hyderabad-based company that helps businesses with digital transformation, AI, and technology-led solutions. He brings with him more than 26 years of experience across industries like technology, finance, software services, and consulting. Over the years, Mr. Mohan has helped many companies grow, solve complex problems, and improve the way they work. He studied engineering at IIT BHU and later completed his management studies at IIM Calcutta. Before starting IPSUP in 2024, Mr. Mohan worked in leadership roles across several companies. He was a CFO at Prati AI Solutions, Edities, a global digital services firm, and at Ecolite Digital, where he played a key role during a major ownership change. Mr. Mohan is known for building strong finance teams and helping companies make smart financial decisions. He has handled everything from budgets and pricing to compliance and business strategy. At IPSUP, he focuses on building a team culture based on values like collaboration, character, and competence. Since starting the company, he has played a key role in its fast growth and success. Sir, we welcome you.
My congratulations to the conference dignitaries and people who brought it together.
these kind of conferences are much needed because when you are a practitioner, it is very easy to get started in the day-to-day solution rather than taking a bigger picture. So what we need is an individual robust framework to make sense of some of the problems, some of the issues, and some of the things. Professor Ramakrishna, Dr. Srinivas Murthy, Professor Srikanth, Dr. Parashuram, my esteemed Gurujan sitting all of them sitting here, and beloved students. I thought I would do something slightly different. We'll start with a little bit of a story, right? And when you say story, all of us have a life story. So I'm going to start with my life story, right? I hope you'll forgive me for that. But so I worked for the last 27 years in finance. A few years as CFO, a few years before that as controller, some parts as FP&A. But let's go back many years, about 25 years to 2001. I joined the firm as a management accountant for their software business. And after a fair bit of work, I was given a chance to present my budget to the CFO. And the date was fixed as 11th of September. I had a 6-hour meeting. I came out very excited because my budget had been approved. And does anybody remember what happened that day? Come on. 11th of September, 2001. Yes. So the budget was, well, not even fit for the dustbin, right? A few years later, I became the head of investor relations for the firm. And in 2008, while I was heading investor relations, something happened in Hyderabad, again, in IT sector. Some of you remember that. Anybody wants to tell the students, because some of them were probably just about born. So something happened. And yeah, and then something happened. So two things happened simultaneously. Something happened in the US and something happened in India. And again, as head of investor relations, you had to now convince the investors that your business model was more robust and so on and so forth. A few more years, December 29, I got my first role as CFO of Acolyte. Took 3 months for me to put together the right team, plan out the system and process changes, and early March 2020, we presented that to the CEO. And everybody knows what happened in March 2020. So, why do I tell these stories, right? It is very easy today for people to get very excited on one hand and very depressed on the other hand by what's happening around them. But tough times have always been there. Good times have always been there. The ability to navigate the tough times has been always left to finance, by the way. So the students here, I'm assuming most of them have some connection with finance and will be kind of going on to work in the field of finance. One of the things you have to note is you will have the toughest jobs in the universe. The other part is it's also going to be the most exciting job in the universe. But yeah, every few years, I mean, I have given 3 examples. There are at least 5 more in between, right? But every few years you will get tested. So last year, I co-founded this firm also with a friend of mine, long-standing friend of mine, and we set out to form a firm which would only do product engineering, which means we build products for software startups. And everybody knows what's the funding climate, everybody knows the uncertainty. And through it all, we've grown 20 times in less than a year. We're continuing to grow. We've not had to sell because we have customers looking at innovative
solutions delivered at the right price, which will help them navigate the world. So sense making is part of the finance job, right? Now, all disruptions, whether it is Mr. Trump's tariff changes, whether it is 9/11, whether it is the banking crisis, whether it is something else, these tend to happen with a fair bit of regularity, right? That makes your life a little tougher, but that also gives you the muscle. You know, some of you must be working out. You don't work out by lifting the pin on your table. You always work out by lifting a little more than you think you are capable of. And then you do it again and again and again until it becomes easy enough, and then your trainer typically adds some more to it. That is how you build your muscle. That's the same way in the corporate world. You build your muscle by solving the hard problems, making your mistakes, and then solving it again and again and again until it becomes easy. And then you look for a harder problem. Right? The early part of this decade was all about growth. Every firm chased growth. Money was flowing. It was cheap. After COVID, governments opened the floodgates, and everybody spent money like there was no tomorrow. Then in 2023, you started having flutters. You started having issues with banks. You started having issues with financing. And we came into what was called as the funding winter. When we were forming this firm, somebody said, startups are dead. Why are you doing something to service them? And the comment was that a US startup with lesser funds and unavailability of talent is going to look at India. So we are an Indian firm servicing this stuff from India. We thought we would only work with US startups because we had a cost-effective solution. We are now working with 3 Indian startups building their products. Even though they are right here, they can hire the same set of people. But they come to us because we've done this before, right? So it's about building that muscle, right? So it's about getting that maturity. It's about then being able to solve the problem that exists on the edges. The central challenge today is doing more with less. This challenge will change. You know, good times will come. You know, there'll be money flowing in. Then you'll have another problem. It's not as if it's going to come free of cost for finance days. You know, some of you will be CFOs, some of you will be controllers at that time, and you'll have CEOs saying, why can't I spend? Money is cheap. Why can't I hire an extra 100 people with no work? Why can't I build a fancy new office? Why can't I have an ice sculpture in the lobby of the office? Even though it adds nothing to the customers, it adds nothing to the employees, it adds nothing to the business. But we have the money, why can't we spend? That's going to be one challenge, believe me. If you don't think it's a challenge, wait till you see it. Right? So keeping the sanity is very important. Finance always plays this role. So the first challenge for almost at all times is margins. Delivering the right returns to your shareholders who back you through the tough times, who bring in the money in the good times, that return level is very, very important. The second is capability. Now, this is something that is not very fashionable to talk about in finance circles, but ultimately, spreadsheets don't do the work. People do the work. People backed by the right technology. Even if you have the right technology, you need someone to run it. Technology is an enabler, technology is a disruptor, but the people with you make it happen or lose sight of it. So attracting the talent and retaining the right talent, motivating them, and then focusing them using the right tech to solve the problems is a challenge for every finance executive. It's a challenge for every executive, but I'm just focusing on finance, because people don't think it's a challenge for finance, but that's always there. I think Dr. Shrikant was telling me that 120 people have been placed with Deloitte, and that's fantastic. Again, that is an example of using Indian talent Not just for cost, but for the fact is that you cannot get 120 qualified CPAs in the US and more. So the reason they are recruiting from here is because the talent is not even available anywhere outside this place. Right? Now the challenge is, we think that, oh, if it comes at a lower cost, it can afford to be lower quality. No, the quality bar is still the same. When you go out in the world, you're going to be competing with the best of the best across the world. Nobody's going to say, we then pay them X dollars and we pay you Y rupees, which comes to a little lower than the X dollars because of the cost of living. So we expect a little less from you. No. People used to come to India for cost. They don't. The expectation is the same high quality in numbers that they cannot get abroad. Our value proposition to our customers is not lower cost. We've actually had a customer say, at the cost you're quoting, I can hire somebody in the US. And my comment was, where? Where are you going to get the people in the US to deliver this? I've proved my capability. My rockstar people have proved the fact that they understand your problem and that they have a solution that others could not give you. So the competition is not about cost. There is a cost of living, which is fine, but the competition is you're going to be put on the same bar as anybody else in the world, and you will have to make efforts to make sure that you stay above it. It's very fashionable to talk of national pride, but national pride comes from delivering higher than others. It does not reside in your past, it resides in your current ability to do things better than anybody else. Right? So, the third part, the third challenge, and the third imperative for businesses and for finance leaders today is culture. Culture is the glue that binds us together. You know, you would have heard this in your OB classes. Everybody knows it, and thinks it's somehow an HR's job or it's a CEO's bhashan or whatever it is. But without culture and without values, you start getting exhausted faster. If you look at if you look at your own large family, and I'm just taking a slightly more personal example, just to help you relate to it. There are relatives, regardless of their station in life, that you want to spend time with. And then in every large family, there are relatives you don't want to spend time with. You meet them at the family function, but you escape after you touch their feet, say namaskar, and then you get out because, oh, look, they're spicing. Why does that happen? Because the connection is how they make you feel. The connection is the value systems they have and how it works once it is. Culture allows you to get up in the morning after brutal 100-hour weeks, and this is a very personal experience. 50 weeks, each week 100 to 110 hours in office. Culture is the one which allows you to get up the next Monday and go back to work because you want to deliver that, because you are committed to that. It's not, it makes it easier because you feel that connection. You feel the fact that it corresponds with your values, right? So the role of the CFO has changed quite a bit. The one thing that has become very, very important is the ability to communicate. Almost all of the young MBAs or coming out of IPE, one of the things I would urge you, regardless of your specialization, is to spend a lot more time developing the empathy and developing the communication skills and having a keen interest in the modern developments, because technology is there. Today there's AI, and it's very fashionable to say AI will take over everybody's job. No, and Sam Altman says it, AI will take over everybody's jobs, and he's still got 20,000 people working for him, right? Designing the AI, and he's recruiting. So if OpenAI is recruiting, AI is definitely not taking away everybody's jobs. It is making certain things easier and certain things tougher, but being correct with it is our job. It's never been easy. It will never get easier, but it will always remain fun if you keep this in mind. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. for sharing your practical insights and valuable perspectives on the latest developments in the world of finance and startups. Your industry experience will add more depth to today's discussion. With great privilege, we invite our chief guest, Professor Dr. N.R. Parasuraman, to deliver his inaugural address. Professor N.R. Parasuraman was the Director Emeritus and Senior Professor at SDM Institute of Management Development, Mysore. He has 41 years of experience in diverse areas of finance, and his special areas of teaching and research are strategy, financial derivatives, multinational finance, and corporate valuation. He has published over 40 papers and concept articles in various journals. He has authored a book titled Financial Management, a Step-by-Step Approach, published by Centage, which has now gone into the second edition. Apart from this book, his major work, Derivatives and Risk Management, fourth edition, published by McGraw-Hill, is very popular among the teachers and students of derivatives. Professor Parasuraman has lectured across India and abroad among various universities on his favorite area of finance. His lectures have generally been acknowledged as easy and have sought to bring complex regulation into simple parameters. Professor Parasuraman worked as an academic in SDM Institute for Management Development for more than 25 years. He was elevated to the post of director in 2011 and continued in that capacity till 2023. In the last phase of his directorship, he was accorded the post of Director Emeritus in the Institute. During his tenure, he was also appointed as a member of the board of EFMD Accreditation Committee and continued in the capacity for 6 years from 2017 to 2023. Apart from his lectures, he has a string of articles, papers, and publications on finance. We welcome you, sir.
What we reasonably care. Right. The next 10 minutes of the day, what I want to dwell upon is the new areas of finance, which every one of us at all spheres in the organization should appreciate. Normally what happens is when we talk about finance, financial applications, markets, etc., it is confined basically to the financial professional and not including people from the other fields. In my opinion, that is where we are making a mistake. Over the years, now things are changing. Finance is such a wide field that it is part of corporate strategy. It is part of decision making. So whatever we are participating in, but the decision making process has to find some financial parameter which is of interest to the HR professional, to the marketing head, the operations head, etc. That is the challenge which a financial professional has. So one of the first conditions for that is to have very robust innovative products within our fold, which are easily understandable by all the people. So I went through your brochure. Your confident brochure, was very impressed about the list of things which you have listed out as the areas on which you have invited papers
They are very wide, they are comprehensive, if you like. They range from innovations and financial technology down to mutual funds, stock markets, entrepreneurial finance, everything. It's very nice. So it is not possible for me or any of the distinguished people who are sitting in the dais to describe to you the various facets of all this. That's not the intention. But what I want to do is, I want to tell you there are certain things within these areas which are of very paramount significance to all of this. For example, if you think in terms of fintech and innovations, what exactly is financial technology? What exactly is innovation? And how does it affect a normal finance professional and a non-finance professional? The important thing to realize is when you introduce fintech within an organization, you are going to include also the non-finance heads, non-finance functionaries within the fold. So it is required that if you make the system simple, it is required that you should make the system sustainable and something that people can understand easily. That is the challenge in financial innovations these days. It has come in many ways in budgeting. It has come in many ways in control, but it requires also greater education among all the functionaries. The second thing is, all of us are talking about, especially in the last 1 year, about artificial intelligence. True. It is true in all the fields. There is no field in management where artificial intelligence is not important. For each one of us, AI is very significant. And in finance especially, it becomes very, very, very significant because that actually translates to value creation. It actually also means educating the other functionaries as to how various aspects of artificial intelligence are contributing towards value creation. The third one is about corporate governance. We have all known about corporate governance for a very long time. And what is significant about that in today's context is corporate governance involves also accountability. Gone are the days when a person used to sit in the board, give opinions, and then go off. Now, whatever opinions that persons give are accountable and are held as the things that are responsible for. So they become very, very crucial. International management, because no firm these days can be entirely national. Every firm is international. And when you talk about international, what are the differences in these terms? What are the differences in the various types of study that we have that it should be emphasized and understood? So which involve multinational capital budgeting, which will also involve multinational investing, how these things work in various countries, how markets function, etc. At least a broad understanding is required for everybody. Stock markets, derivatives. Yeah, already we know that they are very, very crucial. Already we know that they are important because a good stock market performance is what is important for a company. To sustain good stock market performance, one needs to instill strong financial parameters which should go into the stock market study inevitably. And lastly, how will all this contribute to the overall decision-making process? They all contribute to the overall decision-making process because they all are the contributors to innovative decision-making, innovative finance, and finance becomes an important function along with corporate strategy, so that one of us, at whatever functions we are, realize the importance of financial parameters in our day-to-day life. About corporate social responsibility. Amidst all this, let us also remember that we all need to be socially responsible. And there is an element of social responsibility which needs to be installed. Because in financial studies, sometimes we carry ourselves too much with figures, not really realizing that social responsibilities are also important. These are the small things that I would like to say. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring and thought-provoking address. Your words have immense value to the spirit of this conference and will surely guide in the discussions forward.
We now request Professor S. Srinivasamurthy, Director IPE, and the conference chairman, Professor V. Srikanth, Dean Academics, and conference conveners to felicitate our chief guest, Professor N. R. Parashuram.
Now, we move to the felicitation of our guest of honor, Mr. Mohit. We request all the conference conveners to felicitate our Now, we request the conference conveners to felicitate our dear director, Professor S. Srinivasamurthy. Parashuram Garu to felicitate our conference convener, Professor to present a memento to our conference convener, Dr. Y. Ramakrishnan.
Next, I request our parents, Prashant Garu, to present a memento to the conference convener, Swati Mathur. And now it is my turn as conference convener to take a memento.
We now request all the faculty members of IPE to join us on the stage for a group photograph. As we come to the end of the session, I request Dr. Kalyani to propose the vote of thanks.
The close of the inaugural session, it's my honor to present a vote of thanks on behalf of the organizing team of IPE Annual Finance Conference 2025. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Professor Dr. Rizal Patsuraman, for taking this time out from this busy schedule to join us today and for this inspiring address. Your presence has truly enriched the inauguration of our annual finance conference. We are deeply thankful. We are deeply thankful to our guest of honor, Mr. Modi, co-founder and CFO of Executive Consultancy, for sharing valuable insights and perspectives on emerging trends in finance. Thank you, sir. We would like to thank our director, Professor Dr. S. Srinivasamurthy, for his continuous support and encouragement. His leadership has been a guiding force at every step since the beginning of organizing this conference. Thank you, sir. Our sincere thanks to Professor V. Srikant, the attendance for this motivating words, and Professor Dr. Y. Ramakrishnan, convener, of the conference for his dedication, vision in organizing IPE's Annual Finance Conference 2025. Our sincere thanks to the entire regular team of IPE and volunteers, especially Raghuram, whose efforts have made today's event a smooth and grateful experience. I would also like to thank all our distinguished faculty, delegates, research scholars, and participants who have joined us from various institutions, both in the online and offline mode. Their presence and participation has made this platform more meaningful and impactful. A big thank you to the IT and technical support team who ensured a seamless and smooth experience for everyone here. We extend our thanks to press and media for covering the event. Thank you once more.
Here the request, all the paper presenters picked up from different places to assimilate a 60 minutes in the ground floor, so that we'll have a group photo with our previous Professor Parshuraman Garu. In addition to that, all the PGDM students and the PGDM students are hereby requested to assimilate the 6 pillars. We'll have a class group photo section wise, A, B, C, and it hardly takes 5-6 minutes of your time. Don't run here and away. Just come there, we'll complete the photo. Thereafter, please go to your Viva. We'll guide you through this. Thank you very much.
Now I request all the participants and delegates to assemble near the 6 pillars that is at the entry of IP for a group photo, and then proceed to 4th floor, Seminar Hall 1 and 2. Thank you so much.
The technical sessions will be starting at 11:25 sharp in Seminar Hall 1, Track 1, Seminar Hall 2, Track 2 in 4th floor. Quickly assemble at 6th floor, ground floor 6 pillars for a group photo, and then proceed to 4th floor. Thank you.